Welcome back from that. Thank you so much to the Investment Plus. Tony Alausa, it's so good to see you again. It's been a while there. Now, President Bola Tinubu says his administration is prioritizing and improving Nigeria's health sector through massive investment and the allocation of increased funds to the sector in the proposed 2024 budget. And today on the program, we'll be discussing something just as important. That's what we'll be discussing. We'll be discussing the health sector renewal investment initiative that has just been launched by the president. And to do that, in the studio, we have, I think, the number one advocate for health in Nigeria. He's been advocating for the patients in Nigeria, like he always says. The patients have
the Nigerian patients are worth it.
The Nigerian patients are worth it. That's something that he always says. The Nigerian patients are worth it. In the studio with me is Dr. Douglas Okor, a medical consultant. Thank you so much for being part of the program.
Thank you, Joy, and ASO Radio and TV for having me.
Yes.
Me again.
You're a regular these days. You're a regular. I mean, when we read about this health sector renewal investment initiative, the first person, of course, the man who understands what the patients truly need and how worth it the patients are. I just had to bring you. You have gone through the unveiled initiative. First of all, what jumped up at you?
Okay, so Joy, let me start like this. This present government came into being roughly about 6 months ago, and a few things have happened since then. Things like them actually putting policies forward without actually thinking of how this policy is going to affect the average person against the backdrop of about 133 million multidimensionally poor people, and not actually thinking, okay, these policies are putting in place, what are the things we are going to do to actually ameliorate the sufferings and actually try and cushion the effect and stuff like that, all the way to looking at things like the supplementary budgets and going all the way to looking at even the appropriation bill for the 2024 and looking at things like serious amounts of resources going into billions of naira being earmarked for things like vice president's house or repair and refurbishment of Aso Rock, Jordan Barrack, looking at the National Assembly and looking at 140 to 160 million naira per car for all those numbers of people. And you look at that and I just cringe in utter disgust. Okay, and you actually wonder, okay, these political players, these politicians, do they actually have what we call do they have insights? Do they understand the issues of the compassion and empathy that they're actually supposed to have at this particular point in time? But guess what? The stroke of genius, almost turning around on the 12/12/23, on the Universal Health Coverage Day itself, a miracle actually happened. Okay, now I'm one of these people that are actually very objective. People like us, we don't pander to basal things like politics or ethno-religious things and stuff like that. When we see something that is black, we'll call it black. If we see something that is white, we'll call it white. Right. If a government or any agency is doing well, we will hail them. See, what happened 2 days ago was a momentous occasion. It was a defining moment in the Nigerian healthcare ecosystem. Okay, it's almost like the heralding, of something really special moving forward in the healthcare space in Nigeria. And we need to give massive kudos, first of all, to the president himself. Okay, one of the things I always talk about is the messaging, signaling, and posturing of the government with things that are important. And if you look at the sustainable development goals, the 17 of them, guess what the first 5 are? The first 5 are actually about those multi-dimensions of access to simple things of life. Simple things of life. Poverty, health, education, water, hygiene. The basic things. And that's why I started with the things that make me cringe and things that actually disgust me, and I'm sure most Nigerians as well. When you're actually in a country where we are struggling with resources, we are borrowing and stuff like that, and you're actually putting forth those resources to things like all the things that I mentioned earlier on. So this was a sigh of relief. Okay, a big shout out goes to the Minister of Health himself, the coordinating Minister of Health, and Mohammed, Pate, and of course his counterpart and partner Tunji, Alausa. Right. They have done an absolutely fantastic job. Now you might be saying, "Oh no, this is not just about 2 people," but it tells you the importance of leadership, isn't it? It tells you the importance of the arrowhead itself. So yeah, so kudos to them. Fantastic, absolutely fantastic. In fact, it looked as if they actually stole things from my head. These are the things I've been talking about all along. Remember, there was a time when I was talking about, people were talking about, healthcare moving forward, the new government coming in, and I said, any government that comes in, or I actually said within the first 4 weeks, we need to see a situation where the president, the minister of health, all the governors, the commissioners of health, all key, the development partners as well, coming together and say, hey, we need to actually mainstream healthcare in Nigeria.
Exactly.
And guess what, Joy? That's exactly what happened on 12/12/23.
Right.
So, man, kudos to them.
Now, they were talking about activities that will mark the universal health coverage and all of that. These are conversations that have been ongoing. Successive governments have tried their best in ensuring universal health coverage. Do you think that beyond rhetorics, this government is poised to actually achieve and implement it?
Well, it is difficult to actually say, okay? I will actually respond based on what I have seen, okay? And basically, what we have seen is that sort of putting that template and that foundation where we can actually leap from. Remember, the healthcare system in Nigeria is in tatters, okay? And if you're going to actually evolve and move that to where we want to see, we want to see a healthcare system that is fit for purpose and something that we can be proud that actually delivers on what we want to actually deliver, okay? If we want to see that happen, it's going to take some time, but we must have the springboard.
Of course.
And I'm saying that 12/12/23 Universal Health Coverage Day, where you had this launching, okay, and this unveiling of the Nigerian health sector renewal initiative in investments, you know, sir, laudable, absolutely fantastic. So moving from there, it's not going to be a sprint; it's going to be a marathon.
It should be a marathon.
Yes, it's going to be a marathon. So now, yes, we've set this template. Fantastic. Did you watch what is his name, Dr. Ghebreyesus? Tedros Ghebreyesus. He actually gave his presentation, and you could see that he was beaming with excitement. And you wonder, why will the DG, the Director General of the Water Organization, why was he? In fact, he even ended by using the Yoruba word to say health is wealth. Okay, but look at Tedros Ghebreyesus and look at where he came from. Okay. And Africa is the first African Director General of the World Health Organization. Okay, he was born into poverty. One of his brothers died when he was 3 years old, most probably to something that was preventable. Okay, and he rose through the ranks. Okay, being Assistant Minister of Health to Minister of Health to Foreign Secretary, and has played a pivotal role in actually the movement of healthcare in his country on the national level, and played significant roles in international as well in terms of healthcare projects and stuff like all the way from Ebola to even the COVID and stuff like that. Now, when such a man looks at the biggest black nation in the world, in Africa, and looks at this template that they've set and stuff like that, he can only be excited because he knows that once Nigeria gets it right, what happens, Joy? The rest of Africa gets it right.
Right.
Okay? And so, again, a big thumbs up to the president and to this team that have actually done this. And did you see what happened there? Everybody was represented. Now, again, I talk about this issue of messaging, signaling, and posturing. Exactly. Imagine if the president wasn't there. Do you think that the Secretary of the Federal Government would have been there? The Chief of Staff would have been there? All those governors and stuff would have been there? Do you think all those partners, all the way from World Bank, African Development Bank, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the Dangote Foundation, Gavi,
of course, they wouldn't have been there.
They wouldn't have been there.
So the importance that you put into issues makes it...
Absolutely. So if the number 3 team on the Sustainable Development Goals, okay, is that important, and the president himself came to this launching, okay, and was there from beginning to the end, and was the last person to actually speak, and actually spoke very well, okay. It just tells the whole world and tells Nigerians that, hey, this looks like an administration that's ready to take something as pivotal, something as central, and something as mainstream as healthcare seriously. And for that, I say kudos.
Dr. Douglas, now the template is set. What do you want to start seeing? You said it. We don't need, no longer a sprint, it's a marathon.
It's a marathon.
It should be a marathon. Okay. What do you want to see in place right now?
So what we want to see, of course, one of the things I loved was that when Mohammed Pate spoke, and all of them, you saw that they were actually mainstreaming what I've always been talking about, primary health care. our basic healthcare system needs to work. Dr. Pate, Professor Pate talked about the issue of that we have like 8,000, 9,000 wards, and that they want to make sure that they really start working on at least
exactly.
a primary healthcare center that is worth its salt in each ward, and actually scale up over the next 4 years. And that by 2027, we are hoping to see that at least double that, almost about 17,000 a work. Fantastic, okay? Other key things I talked about was this issue of the sector-wide approach. Oh, I'm so proud of that. You know, now, people might wonder,
advocating for it right
yeah,
there.
absolutely. People might wonder, what's the sector-wide approach? The way I can actually explain this in simple terms is that imagine you have different artists, okay? One plays a saxophone, the other one plays a violin and so on, and all of them are playing their own tune in different places. Imagine all of them coming together in an orchestra, okay? That orchestra mode is actually what the sector-wide approach is all about. We want to move from where, being a mandate will be interested in HIV and malaria and tuberculosis, and be doing this. No, we want everybody to be unified, okay? All the billions of pounds or dollars are going to come in and stuff like it's going to be in a central pool. Everybody's looking at, hey, these are the issues of coordinating this properly and integrating and stuff like that. That's what we want to see going forward. Now, what should happen in real sense? We need proper strategic communication from all the key players, especially from the ministry, the Federal Ministry of Health itself. They're going to be central, okay? They're going to be at the core. Of course, all these other key players are going to be around, everybody driving it together. So we want to see that coordination. We want to see a proper integration of things. I'll give you an example. The Enugu State Governor, okay, Peter Mba, he already presented his budget. Okay, and he talked about the issue of 260 wards. I think it was 260 wards, and was saying that he's going to prioritize actually making sure that the primary healthcare centers in those 260 wards, that they make sure that they are working, that they are up to standard and everything. Now, those 260 primary healthcare centers are part of the 8,000 primary healthcare centers that Dr. Pate is talking about. So, government is saying this, Minister of Health is saying this. We want coordination. We don't want any waste. We don't even have the resources. We want resources to be deployed properly. One other key thing that the sector-wide approach is going to help with is that by the time you actually have the Federal Ministry of Health and all these key partners and donors working in the same page and so forth, you're going to see them in the issues of efficiency and effectiveness in terms of looking at things like governance and leadership and institutional reforms are going to move speedily, because by the time these guys are working with people in the Federal Ministry of Health, the Federal Ministry of Health people are not going to be working Nigerian style anymore. Okay? So they're going to be working at that sort of international best practice style. Now, we are not going to just fold our hands and say, oh yeah, they've set a very good template.
That's where my question.
We are going to put pressure. We are going to be asking the key questions. Okay, what the devil is in the detail? How are we going to actually deploy this? How are we going to use the resources? The basic healthcare provision fund you talked about. These others. How are we going to be monitoring these things and stuff like that? And so that's why, of course, with this sector-wide approach, what do you have there? You have the national government, the subnational government, the development partners, like I talked about, the non-governmental organizations, the private sector, and of course, the civil society organizations. So nobody should go to sleep, okay? Fantastic foundation, so at least we have something to actually go on. So we must continue to put that thing that I actually talk about, the positive pressure. So again, going back again, hey, healthcare professional associations, Nigerian Bar Association, civil society groups, faith-based groups, traditional leaders, it is not time to go to sleep, okay? We've actually, the President Tinubu and Mohammed Pate and Tunji Alausa and all the key actors, they've actually created this solid platform for us. Now, we need to launch into action. Now, guess what? The theme is actually health for all, time for action.
Right.
So now that we've actually created that platform, it is now time for action. If you want good governance in Nigeria and the deliverables, of which healthcare is one of the key ones, okay, you cannot say, oh, government, do whatever you like, we're going to be watching you. Those days are gone. And to tell you the truth, I won't lie to you, looking at from where we came from before the elections in February this year, and now, the average Nigerian is asking more questions. The average Nigerian is interrogating more and stuff like that. And that is the way. Once again, like I said, the Nigerian patients are worth it. It is good. What we are seeing so far, like I said, is a defining moment in the healthcare ecosystem in Nigeria, and we want to see a situation where we all put our eyes on the board and actually make this a reality in the next couple of years.
Well, we've seen how pressures like that does work. We've also seen when it pressures faith-based organizations, traditional rulers, and all that, civil society organizations come, and yet we do not see. The government is promising infrastructure and equipment, health infrastructure, investment and equipment, and all that.
And human resource improvement as well,
resources,
which is very, very important.
Very important.
We must always mention that.
Exactly. However, we've also seen proclamations by this government and not seen implementation, so to speak. Do you think that with this positive pressure that you're pushing for, we would see this change at last? You seem so excited.
Joy.
Something I have not seen you like in a very long time.
Like I said, this is like a historical moment. I cannot remember. I cannot actually remember any time when you actually saw the president of this country, mainstream healthcare lines, come in. They should actually have a program. Everybody that needs to be there is there. It was being live, and all the key stations in Nigeria actually, were actually tuned in.
Yes.
Wow, that is big.
It was big.
You understand? That is not changing our industry in healthcare, but of course we must start from somewhere. And like I said, you understand? People like us, we are objective. When we see something, you understand, that has gone well, we will say exactly what it is. This has gone well.
I want you to say more about this positive pressure.
So key thing, Joe, is that there's nothing like free freedom. Freedom is not free. Okay, the slave trade was not ended because the slave trade said, we've seen the lights. We are not going to be godless. No, people fought for it. So this positive pressure must continue. Okay. Now, guess what? In my wildest dreams, yes, we keep pushing, we keep hitting at that door and stuff like that. I didn't think that this would happen. But guess what has happened? I'm telling you that a couple of things have happened here. Yes, leadership has actually come into play. Okay? Remember, there was a time when we spoke here, we talked about Mohammed Pate, and there were some things I wrote that I was saying, hey, when it comes to the issue of academic capacity, the technical capacity, when it comes to the issue of track record and the fact that, hey, this man has been in there and stuff like that, he has what it takes. And what I was begging for was two things: courage and compassion and empathy, isn't it?
And you also talked about the government backing him so that he would have
absolutely. And you can see that this is a very strategic man. Of course, with Tunji Alausa supporting him as counterpart, he's a very he knew that if you launch this kind of program and the president is not there, you are wasting your time. So I'm sure you would have sat on your and say, President, you need to be fully part of this to actually make this scale through and stuff like that. And guess what? Absolutely fantastic. I'm proud.
Are you also proud that the indices, the KPIs that would get us there? Because I'm more interested in let us get there, let us start working. Are you interested at the real out KPIs that will get us there?
Well, so the key thing is that, like I said, if you look at leadership is so important. Look at the man at the helm of affairs of healthcare. Right. You know that all these issues of efficiency and effectiveness are looking at things like the key performance indicators and stuff like that. These are things that he's lived his life with things like that. And guess what? He was actually Minister for State for Health. So he knows all the bureaucracy and all the issues within the Federal Ministry of Health itself. So when it comes to the issue of actually putting down all these keys, like all the indicators that we're going to look for and stuff like that, I'm sure he's actually going to do that. Like I said, what I'm asking for from him and his counterpart Tunji Alausa is courage. We need real courage at this particular point of time.
Right.
I am telling you, this government, with respect to what they've done, so they have my support, okay, for this. Now, the fact that they actually have my support for something like does not mean that when they actually don't do the right thing and stuff like that, I'm going to lay back and say, no, there's nothing like blind support. When you do well, we will give you the thumbs up, okay? I mean, this one, they have actually done well. But like I said, we cannot leave it to them alone and say, okay, fantastic outing, unveiling and stuff like that. No. Like I said, the devil is in the detail. We will follow them bumper to bumper.
Yes.
And actually make sure that
I'm happy you said we.
Yes.
But you've also criticized other medical associations that should be pushing forward, and you often see them very complacent.
Yes.
So do you think they are as poised as you are? Are they as excited?
I don't know whether they are as poised as they are, but I'm using this forum now, Joy, to actually tell them.
When you say we?
So we are the people that actually talked about. The healthcare professional organizations, the civil society organizations, the Nigerian Bar Association, all key players, like I said, the faith-based organizations, the traditional rulers, and also, of course, the civil society organizations.
Are you going to be organizing them? Because so that they have this momentum of excitement.
I'm always ready to be involved in actually mobilizing and pushing for positive pressure to actually make sure that we put the Nigerian patient first and put the average person that is struggling, those 133 plus now multidimensionally pop, will put them in the front burner instead of actually we were using 15 billion naira to actually build houses for vice president. I want us to put our resources to these people because, like I always say, Joy, the Nigerian patients
are worth it. Now, the president had promised in this initiative to unlock the healthcare value chain, which will see Nigeria manufacturing increasing share of its generic drugs, medical services, and associated content, such as vaccines over time, which consequently would reduce the dependence on those only keen to exploit our markets, the minister said. But do you think that we can get there in this administration's time? It's 4 years this administration has done.
All these proposals and all these plans and all these strategies are very doable.
And skeptics do not think it is.
They are all very doable. And I've always said that. They are doable and they are achievable. But of course, what's the caveat there? The caveat is that, are you ready as a government to be serious about it? Are you ready to be dedicated to it? Okay, as a government, are you ready to push through? Are you ready to make sure that that you're going to take responsibility, that we are going to actually push and actually make all the reforms that we need to see, especially in institutional reforms and governance and leadership and governance. That's where it starts from, isn't it? And making sure that you're deploying your resources in a proper way. And like I said, all the issues of coordination and integration and all this sector-wide approach. So it's all back to them as the government. So it is very, very achievable. But of course, like I said, Joy, we will not leave them alone. We will not leave them to their own devices. Okay, we've set a proper templates, and they will continue to actually put pressure because, like I said, the Nigerian patients are worth it.
We never got to talk about the allocation proposed in the appropriation bill for 2024 for health. How did you feel about that?
Well, slightly better than the last proposal. So yes, thumbs up, but definitely more needs to be done. Of course, we know that we are struggling with funds in Nigeria, and because we are struggling with that, that's why it's so annoying. That the fact that we are borrowing money, we are struggling with funds, the economy is in the bad shape, and people are buying cars for National Assembly members, 140 million. We had a program the other day, the Brain and Spine Foundation, and they were actually working with the Federal Road Safety and stuff, and actually talking about preventing brain and spine injuries. In road traffic accidents. And there was the guy representing the Federal Road Safety Corps, and they were talking about, we don't have enough ambulances and stuff. I said, what? Compare that. You don't have enough ambulances, and you're spending 140 to 160 million buying a car each for almost like 500 people. Why? And that's why I say this lack of empathy, okay, and compassion in government and stuff like that, it must stop. We must fight against it with every vigor and every vitality that we have in ourselves. Because, like I said, the Nigerian patients are worth it.
Right. Well, it then is the hope. I mean, you just illustrated something I'm touched by the fact that we don't have enough ambulances, and yet we have our representatives, driving very expensive cars.
And you saw the amount of money they spent for the president of Senate's birthday and stuff like that.
Oh well.
Sometimes you just wonder, do these guys do they understand the mood and the present situation in the country? Almost tending towards being pathetic. Really annoying.
Really annoying. So what is where is the hope right now? Joy,
we will always have hope. Do you understand? These things are doable. Do you understand? It can never be. It's not all doom and gloom. There is hope. Okay, and that's why sound like I've been back in Nigeria for 7 years. I'm still here. Okay, so there is always hope. What happened on the 12/12/23 actually even improved the hope.
Right.
Do you understand? When I see, you know what happened for some time, people were actually asking me, when they brought all the ministers out, people were like, which kind of minister is this? And at least they pointed someone like Professor Pate out and say, at least he's a technocrat, he will do it. So people have been asking me, so how far this minister, what is happening? We are not seeing anything happening. So it looks like he actually went underground and actually was doing all the work and now came out. I don't know, is that a good strategy? Maybe in Nigeria, some people like to actually hide and do what they do because maybe if they're out there giving us information, we are doing this, or maybe there might be spoilers and stuff.
No, I mean, Nigerians would rather you do your underground and come up with something right.
So once again, thumbs up to them.
Again, what would you say this speaks to the primary health care? That has been one of your many problems, but do you think that it did address all the problems?
That was the main focus. That was the main thrust of this initiative. They kept talking about, in fact, one of the things they talked about, again, I'll repeat that, they talked about these 8,000 or 9,000 wards where they will make sure that a primary healthcare center fit for purpose is domiciled in one of those places. We've innovated them or whatever, okay? And of course, they now move to the issue of referrals and making sure that each primary healthcare facility is linked to a secondary facility and also key thing talked about the human resources as well. They talked about trying to actually build up like 150,000 man workforce and stuff like that. Again, I'll push this to them. You must be innovative. You know, remember I've talked about this innovation in terms of what do you call it? In terms of task sharing and task sharing and there's another task, okay. So those kind of strategies will be very, very important moving forward. And guess what? Even Tedros Ghebreyesus, when he was actually Minister for Health in Ethiopia, some of these strategies was actually deployed. And if you look at the numbers in terms of their indices, things like maternal mortality, under 5 deaths and so on, they significantly improved when he was actually minister. So again, it's not surprising that he was beaming with, do you understand, with excitement and stuff. They must say, the biggest black nation in the world taking this bold step, all the key people are standing and stuff like that. Momentous occasion. Right. Momentous. Now, I'm proud, I'm happy.
Now, you seem very confident and optimistic that because...
Well, I'm optimistic, I don't know about confidence.
because your excitement exudes confidence, and you're backing this
let me put it this way. God bless Professor Mohammed, Pate, and Tunji Alausa. God bless both.
Right. However, we've had issues with corruption when it comes to implementation of some of these very noble initiatives. So what's your take on ensuring? Is it still this positive pressure that would ensure transparency?
It's definitely going to be the positive pressure, because I don't know. I know they've talked about the issues of accountability. If you look at all the partners, they kept repeating accountability. Okay, so they have talked about this issue of actually creating platforms where they actually push all the information about how all the resources are being spent and stuff like that. But again, back to what I said, you're not going to leave them to their devices. Okay? All the key players must make sure that they are putting them on their toes. No individual, group, society, country, or state or province does well with people just leaving them and say, okay, no, just do your own thing. You must put pressure. You know, and guess what? That's what democracy is actually all about. If you want democracy to actually evolve to good governance, then the people must be citizens.
These are people who for a very long time have done business as usual. So you think that pressure is going to work this time?
Well, there's nothing about this time. Remember, if you say this time, it looks like a sprint. It's not about this time, it's continuous. It's a marathon. So it's continuous pressure. There's not one pressure, it's continuous.
Okay, one of the very important and serious things bedeviling this health sector is this cry for our health professionals leaving the country. Do you think, as excited as you seem to be right now, it would elicit hope and confidence for a lot to now say there seems to be policy direction, let's stay back and get this to work? Do we have, we've always talked about the welfare, but are we there yet when it comes to let's stay back and work?
Are we there yet? Absolutely not. Okay, like I said, this is issue. It's like a proclamation. It's like a launching. It's like setting a platform and stuff like that. But what did I say? The devil is in the detail itself. Okay, you say you want to actually build up this 150,000 man healthcare workforce. Okay, you say you want to try and trap this. You say you want to actually work with the international community, with the partners, to see if you can actually bring other Nigerian doctors back and work with them and stuff like that. The devil is in the detail. Okay, the key thing of it is, you want to actually keep our healthcare professionals back on ground and stuff like that. It's not by making noise. Okay, remember, health for all. Time for action. Please, that's the comeback. Time for action. There's a time for action. So, yes, yes, I'm excited. A good landing, a good platform has been stated. But, like I said, I'm excited, but when you say confident, confident, no. See, the key players who are driving this in, they will give me the confidence when we start actually seeing
that those changes.
We actually start seeing the actions actually happening. Okay, whether you like it or not, you need this kind of platform of 12-12-23, the Universal Health Coverage Day, okay, and launching of this initiative. You need it. That is what you need. One of the things that this government has shown by the president himself, even the Sultan of Sokoto was there as well.
Yeah.
Everybody was well represented. Tedros Ghebreyesus was like, he would have been there, but his doctor says that he shouldn't come around. You have to actually respect your doctor and stuff. But like I said, you can see the excitement on his face. Okay, now this is an epoch. Moment. Do you understand? Epoch moment. But that's what it is. It's like a wedding and marriage, isn't it? The wedding is very we've gotten ready, but there's the marriage, isn't it? So This is that platform that has been set. Okay,
So
like I said,
Professor Pate has to, like you said, have courage. And
yes.
what courage?
Courage, compassion, and empathy.
Right. Courage, compassion,
Courage,
and empathy.
compassion, and empathy. All the other things, he has them. Okay,
Right.
I'm hoping that he has courage and empathy, and because of course, in the coming days, to the week and months and years, okay, it will actually show whether he actually had the courage. You know, sometimes you connect the dots in retrospect.
Yes.
Sometimes you connect the dots in retrospect and say, oh yeah, do you understand?
Now I see what he was doing there.
Yes.
We really have run out of time, Dr. Douglas
problem.
Okor. Thank you so much for being part of the program.
Thank you, Joy, and thank you, Aso Radio on TV.
Yes, we've been discussing with Dr. Douglas Okor. He's a consultant brain surgeon and the number one, like I always say, the number one health advocate that I know in Nigeria. Again, I thank you for being part of the program.
Thank you.
My name is Joy Asonye, and this is where we draw the curtains on Aso Morning. Have a wonderful and productive day.